was being part of what I call a Pilgrim Church. We operated out of 2 houses on the west side of the campus. One was called the Interfaith Center. The other was the house next door. And we had our offices there. We had a Newman Club facility in the basement. The Newman Club was the original name of the student organization, and now it's the Catholic Student Association. I took a two-car garage that was dilapidated there on the back end of that property and changed it into the Falvey Chapel, which became our weekday Mass chapel and our place for small group gatherings. But our weekend liturgies were all held on the campus.
There was really no place to have Mass. So we moved all over the place. I think their very first place was a lecture lab that was in the Bominati building that was for chemistry and biology. They had this huge lecture hall, and they would have, these labs, you know, usually they have an instructor's desk up in the front that's got a place for running the experiments so you can demonstrate the whole class. Well, they use that for the altar, sometimes I believe. And then I forget, then we had, there was the Ingman room, which was a meeting room in the student union. We met there a lot of times. There was a moot court in the law building, and we met there quite often. And there was an auditorium in the old engineering building, which became Health and Human Services building, and I don't know what it is now. Dana Auditorium is the name of the place.
We had a Mass bag, one for Dana Auditorium and one for the Ingman room, and we were very much a Pilgrim Church. We could arrive in the Ingman room and find out that they've moved us to the Law Center Auditorium, and we would have to pack everything up and move. I was the only one praying for the poinsettias and the Easter lilies to die so I wouldn't have to move them every weekend.
Everything was in a little box, and so you packed everything in there: the host, the wine, the vestments, your purificators, everything, your missals, your books. So, they did allow us to keep an altar in the student union, but in the Dana Auditorium we used just the professor's desk and put a cloth over it and had Mass that particular way.
So we were the nomadic church, and there was still just that great sense of community and welcoming and belonging.
It was a little crazy because we didn't have this building, but it was still just a total life-giving community. It was smaller. It was, but it was people who wanted to be here to put up with going from the Ingman room to other rooms in the student union.
There was something kind of intimate about this idea of having Mass where you actually have classes and do it. It's sort of, the Lord comes to us as well as we going to the palatial looking building where we see the Lord is present in a special way. So that kind of worked both ways, I think.
Oftentimes church was done in the chemistry classroom in the old engineering building, and we used to laugh that we were praising the chart of elements on the wall. So, but you had to come to church because you needed to know where it was going to be next week if you didn't come. So,
I think the idea that you could be taking a chemistry exam on Friday and on Saturday you were going for communion from the same seat was kind of a unique experience.
But it was a community of people who were willing to come to church in the Ingman room or Dana Auditorium, which reminds us that the church is not the building, the church is the community. But since we've had this building, our community has grown.